Hi YouTube, Engineer Boy 100. Today's video is on a topic that I've been fighting for quite some time, and a few of you have too. And that is the squeaking and popping of my suspension. Initially I thought it was the springs, so I took those loose and put some bushings on those, but that didn't stop the noise. So I kept doing research, and I think I figured it out. It's something else.
And then I also loosened this lower control arm, and you just have to loosen it. It's 18 millimeters on this side, 16 millimeters on the other side. You don't have to take it off, you just need to loosen it so that the arm can articulate. Now, when you're putting it back to, or when you're basically tightening this back up, you have to have weight on the car. It has to be, basically suspension loaded before you tighten this up. Otherwise, you're going to stress the main bushing that's inside of the lower control arm.
The squeaking popping in my front suspension, I think, is the fact that I didn't put the control arms in correctly. I put them on without the weight of the car on the suspension when I tightened them. So what I'm going to do today, jack up the car, put it on jack stands, loosen everything up, then lower it onto these ramps, lubricate everything, and tighten it back up. Hopefully then it'll be quiet. Check out this diagram and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, this is the little diagram that I made to show what the control arms look like that we'll be loosening and lubricating. I'll be using these Prothane synthetic, I think it's synthetic silicone grease, super grease they call it. And we want to loosen up this main coffin. It's called a coffin, but it kind of looks like a coffin. And I'll be lubricating these surfaces on either side. And then I will lower the weight of the car back on to some ramps with this bolt back in place with the nuts on either end, and then I'll tighten them up. You don't want to lower it down with this not connected to the frame. You can have some problems. Alright, so let's go out to the car, loosen this up, lube this up, put it on the ramp, lower it, tighten it, and then see if we can drive over some curves and undulations and driveways without a bunch of noise. Okay, just like that, she's jacked up. So let's get underneath and take loose those control arms. So now I'm going to take this bolt loose on this tight. Take this bolt loose on this control arm, and then I'm going to try to get. See, I hear it loosened up already. And I'm going to try to get some of this Prothane grease. Got my high-tech tools here. Look at this little guy here. And I also have a super high-tech tool. Look at this. Popsicle stick. I can actually push it up in there to make sure it's in between the frame and the bushing. So if there is any little contact and movement and stuff, it won't squeak, make noise, and drive me crazy. So I'm going to do this to both sides, and I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave these bolts loose. Now I'm not going to take it off because you'd pay hell getting it back in. So I'm going to just leave it on there, loosen it up, lower it onto those ramps, and then tighten it up with the weight on the suspension, the weight of the car on the suspension. That'll keep it. It'll minimize the amount of movement there is when you're driving, because it will already be settled, and then you're tightening it up in that settled position. And I think that the lubrication will help a little bit as well. So let's do the other side. Lower it, tighten it, and then take it for a drive. Alright. Okay, I'm going to use my little Esco pneumatic jack and see if I can get it up high enough to install this ramp. Let's see. Okay, we got it up on both ramps. Now all we have to do is go underneath and to retighten up those bolts. Okay, done with the left side. Done with the right side. Now we'll do the left side. And we'll lower her back down. Put the bottom cover back on. Go for a drive. Okay, it's all buttoned up. And I'm testing it to see if there's any noise. Bushings. Look at that, it's quiet. Turning nice and sharp. We can turn up here this light. Nice sharp 90, and I don't think there's going to be any noise there either. Sorry I didn't have it before. This is the after. But it worked really well. Loosening up the control arms and tightening everything back up with the weight of the car on those ramps has done a lot of good. I'm pretty sure that propane grease has helped as well. So I'm going to hit one more corner for you guys, make a nice sharp 90, and hopefully it's just as quiet as it's been all day. So we'll see. Gonna hit that corner right now. Nice sharp turn. Listen up. Nothing. Quiet as a church mouse. Works great. Highly recommend it. You got bushing noise and you put your bushings in wrong like I did. Loosen her up, load it up on some ramps or some blocks, tighten it back up, you should be good.